When you work with real people, it's about trust. It's about inserting yourself in a community. It's about respecting that community and understanding what they do, what they need, and then just collaborating. My name is Ornella Jaramillo. I'm a producer here in Los Angeles, and we were hired by We Believers, the advertising agency for Corona, to produce this native sportscasters ad. Being in Mexico, everybody's supposed to speak Spanish, but it's not the case. There's more than 65 indigenous languages spoken throughout the country. This was an attempt to include these communities in something that is very universal, which is the football. Something that is still very present in these communities is the radio. So We Believers came out with this fantastic idea. Why don't we find people in these communities that speak the different indigenous languages to broadcast a soccer game? At the beginning, it was a very ambitious project. We wanted to have all Mexico and all indigenous languages, which it would have been impossible. It would have been a year of traveling through the country and meeting people. So we decided to go very specific into a certain region, which is Oaxaca, at the south of Mexico. We decided we wanted to go with 4 main languages there in Oaxaca, which were Mixteco, Zapoteco, Mije, and Chatino. Even though we were in Oaxaca shooting with these 4 specific ones, we saw that we were missing 2, Nahuatl and Maya. So basically, at the end of the day, we casted 6 indigenous languages. We didn't want it to be like experts or an anchor or a journalist. We want them to just be real people who enjoy watching a football game and can do it in their native language. We sent out representatives in each of these communities, and they went out and said, hey, we're doing a casting. Do you want to narrate a game in your language in national radio at the stadium in Mexico City? And so people got super excited. It was incredible. It was lines and lines and lines of people to get casted. Going into these communities, you learn that people love football. Football is something that unites everybody. It was really hard to pick the 6 finalists. One of them was a mom who had never, ever left her town. Another one was a professor who, he's so involved in history and trying to preserve the culture. Just like normal people that had this unique opportunity to just represent their community. We really, really try to respect the indigenous culture on the ground. We can't just get there and impose and say, hey, we're here and we want to do a video and you guys get here online and we're going to record you. Absolutely not. People do not open like that to you. They won't even go to the casting call if they're not sure that what you're doing is something that's going to respect and enhance their culture. When you work with real people, it's about trust. It's about inserting yourself in a community. It's about respecting that community and understanding what they do, what they need, and then just collaborating. One of the key things that we did for that was to hire a very sensitive director that was going to be able to talk to the people and ask the questions in a very respectful way, being a very, very small crew that could get into the community, immerse themselves. Imagine if you've never left your town and now these strangers come and say, hey, we're going to Mexico City and you're going to travel with us. It's scary. With the girl from Hidalgo, she did not want to come because I casted her and I contacted her via Facebook. And she was like, I don't know you guys. I can't trust you. And so it took us like almost 3 days to convince her to actually talk to us. And then once she came and she saw like, oh, wow, this is real. This is crazy. She was really happy she was doing it. These 6 individuals traveled and went there. For them, it was like a mix of emotions. They were nervous, they were excited. But then the people who stayed behind, who were listening to the game, could say, hey, I have a representative of my community up there in the stadium, I think for them it meant there's hope. People know who we are, and hopefully more people, the government, pay attention to us. There's a lot of us that do not speak Spanish and that want to be heard. Campaigns like this are key to preserve the culture and the history, because if not, 30 years from now, nobody's going to know that this ever existed.